deep inside the piney woods of Northeast Texas. You are listening to Talk of the Night. And now, your host, Paranormal Phil. Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be around the world. I am Paranormal Phil, deep inside the piney woods of Northeast Texas. And tonight is Friday night. That means it's Friday night open lines, open discussion, where you, the listeners, viewers, can share your stories, experiences, or ask questions about any of the topics that the show covers. Also, tonight's main topic of discussion is what if. We're going to be asking a lot of what if questions about anything about the paranormal, ghosts, hauntings, Bigfoot, UFOs, aliens, conspiracies, all that good stuff in tonight's show. Also, tonight we have the Mystery Door episode where sorry, I lost track because I was, for some reason, I lost my chat here. But anyways, tonight we have the Mystery Door, which will open at random times. Right before it'll open, I'll mention that it's going to open. But other than that, you'll have to tune in for the whole show if you want to win tonight's mystery prize. And let me tell you, it's a good one. So there are many what-if questions in this world. And feel free to pop in the chat, say hi, let me know you're watching. And if you got questions or stories, experiences that you want to mention in the chat, you can do that. Or you can go and let my producer know in the chat that you want to call into the show. She'll give you a Zoom link and we'll get you on the show. But there are many what-if questions out there about all different things and scenarios. But what we're going to be asking the what-if questions when it comes to the strange and unusual. We're going to be asking what-if questions related to the paranormal, like I said, ghosts, haunting, spirits, all that, cryptozoology, ufology, conspiracies, and anything else we can think of. Well, what I have thought of already. But if we got more, so be it. I also would love to hear from you what your what-if question is. So pop that in the chat and let me know if you got a what-if question. So let's start with the paranormal and ghosts and spirits. What if, and this is coming from somebody that spent over 30 years in the paranormal field, studying the paranormal, and I still have questions that I don't think I will ever get the answer to, and or I don't think I'll be able to ever answer. So the first what if question is, what if ghosts are just time loops or echoes of the past rather than conscious spirits? Now, to answer this question, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, but of course, I would love to hear your thoughts. And of course, this is coming from somebody that spent 30 years in the paranormal field. So, in the paranormal, I believe there are residual and intellectual spirits. What is the difference? Well, the residual would be like the question says, ghost in a time loop or echo of the past. They just repeat the action that possibly resulted in their death. Think of it as a recording that keeps being played over and over again. Then there is the intellectual or conscious spirit. Just because my glasses are off and I got bifocals and they're off, I see it double. Then there are the intellectual, like I said, that you can interact with. Now, this video right here might help explain that. This video asks something similar to this question. So let's go ahead and play that first video.
Ghosts aren't dead people. But emotions that became too strong to disappear?
Some places don't feel haunted by a person. They feel haunted by what happened there.
What do you think? Can an emotion stay behind? What if ghosts aren't?
And yes, their soul, if you will, or their consciousness, I believe, sticks around if it's a residual haunting. It's just basically a memory keep playing over and over again. And so, I mean, again, I want to hear your thoughts on that down in the comments. But of course, like I said, everybody's gonna have their different beliefs. They're gonna have their different opinions, and I'm not here to sway belief one way or the other. And of course, I'll never know the answer to that question. Now, another great what if question, and I have never thought about this, but what if they are not really ghosts and spirits? And I mean, well, I'll let this video explain it to you. So let's go ahead and play that second video.
What if ghost experiences are not actually ghosts, but maybe slips into other dimensions? For a split second, the fabrics of reality could weaken to give us communication with the other side, whatever it may be. That's what drove me to make the documentary at the Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, one of the most haunted places here in Chicago, and asked the professionals myself, can there be a quantum connection to the paranormal?
And that brings up a great point. Now, in my religion, my faith, paganism, Wiccan, this plays a big part. During Samhain, or what people now call Halloween, Samhain is an ancient ritual by pagans, Celtic pagans from Ireland. And what we witches believe that the veil between our world and the spirit world is at its thinnest during Halloween, right around Halloween. Actually, Halloween is when it is at its thinnest. But what if it's just another dimension or a parallel universe that we are seeing? Of course, I want to hear your thoughts on that. But, I mean, it's quite possible that that is the case, that we're just looking into another dimension or a parallel universe and seeing kind of a copy of ourselves. Something that maybe there's just a slight difference. But again, that's just speculation because we don't know the answers to the spirit world. We're always trying to, some people in the paranormal field, we're always trying to figure out the answers to stuff like that. But again, I want to hear your thoughts. Now, what if, question related to the paranormal, ghosts and hauntings, what if ghosts are trapped because they do not realize they've died? That's another interesting question. Well, if you watched my episode on heaven and hell, this question becomes a little more complex. So my thought is maybe they have yet to reach the other side. Whatever that might be, or what they believe in, or maybe they have unfinished business. Maybe they're on the other side, but the other side is here on earth as well. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts. Now, I'm going to play this next video, and that might help us explain this question. So let's go ahead and play that.
Know they're dead. Some paranormal theories suggest that death does not always come with the realization that life has ended. Some spirits may remain trapped within the final routines of their lives, walking familiar hallways, sitting in favorite rooms, opening doors that no longer exist. To them, nothing has changed. They aren't haunting the house. They're still living in it. Others may sense that something is wrong, The people they love no longer answer them. Their reflection has disappeared. Days seem to pass without meaning, while strangers move into rooms they still believe belong to them. Perhaps this explains why some apparitions appear confused, while others seem completely aware of us. And then there are those who know exactly what happened. They know they're dead. They know we're alive. And they know we can sometimes see them, which leaves a far more disturbing question. When a ghost stares directly at you, which kind are you looking at?
Yeah, that is a great question, because some of these darker spirits or darker entities can mimic lighter spirit, unless you know what you're looking for. But that's another story for another day. But there are a lot of interesting what if questions. Now, I could go on and on about ghosts and hauntings and such, because I have a lot of experience with it. But I want to move on to the cryptid side of things next. So, the first what if question for this segment is, what if creatures like Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster are actually interdimensional travelers? Now, I sort of answered this question on my Monsters and Mysteries episode. If you want to check it out, it's on the Talking Night YouTube channel. But there's a lot to say that these creatures could be phasing in and out of different dimensions or different phases. Who knows? I mean, again, I want to hear your thoughts. So let's watch this video that might give you a different perspective on these cryptids.
The Bigfoot being interdimensional, I'm not sure they all are, but I think that the ones that we dealt with in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California have such an advanced vocal mechanism. I mean, there's times when we thought our camp was being tore apart outside. We look out there and nothing's changed. The barrels were there that we hauled in our mules. All our canned goods were still there that we hauled in. Nothing changed. Well, how do you explain that in classical science? You can't. So there's just things going on. There's lights. We've seen what we thought was a UFO I did up there one time. You hear sounds up there that just don't have an answer to them, and not in classical science anyways. What I think they can do with their very advanced vocal mechanism is I think they can create a frequency that will cause them to go out of our visual perception, and that would cause them to, in our eyes anyway, disappear. Are they going out of our dimension into the fifth dimension, fourth dimension of time? Maybe they're seen as a ghost, like some people see ghosts in the fourth dimension, they're time, because they're trapped in there. Are they going through that in a plasma field? Is that what the cloaking thing, the predator look that they call it? Could it be that they're going into their fifth dimension, where I think that's why you don't find bodies, that's why they're not found by classical science, and academia just can't handle that because it's outside their paradigm. It's outside of their disciplines. As far as
and you heard there that, talking about it, I mean, you think about it, it's possible, but could it be something else that he was also experiencing, like haunting? Because I know the forests out there have a lot of strange activity, something like almost like the Appalachian Mountains. But again, I want to hear your thoughts. Now, of course, I would love to get a cryptid researcher such as Loren Coleman, or an expert on the show like Loren Coleman or others on the show to answer the questions like that. Anyways, let's dive into the next what if question when it comes to different cryptids. What if mythological monsters were just early humans misidentified okay, let me try this again. Misidentifications of regular animals. Now, while that might be true to some extent, I doubt there are misidentified, but for the I doubt they all are misidentified, but for the sake of this question, let's play this video. Oh, let's play this video that shows an animal that, if you were looking at it from the video point of view up until it gets close, you could have probably mistaken it for a Bigfoot. So let's play that video. And you can see there, it's walking, and it's all about perception, how you're looking at it, what angle you're looking at it from. I mean, from a distance, it looks like some kind of humanoid standing there, or like a gorilla or a Bigfoot standing there, but it turns out it was just a bison. Now, of course, that's one take on it. It could be just what you're seeing at what angle. Okay, now, one last question about cryptids before moving on to ufology. What if cryptids are surviving remnants of prehistoric species we assume are extinct? Now, of course, there are some people who believe creatures like the Loch Ness Monster are just prehistoric creatures still alive today, which is quite possible. We have yet to explore the depths of our oceans. It's hard to see down into the Loch where that creature is without sonar, and that doesn't give us a clear picture. Now, like, the first sighting was deemed a hoax, but that's not to say that there isn't a creature like that. Different people have experienced different things. Now, how is that possible, that these creatures are just prehistoric creatures, or things that are no longer alive, or they're on the extinct list, and we just don't know? That we're discovering new creatures every day. But how is that possible? I'm not sure, but let's watch this video to kind of explain that.
Theoretical cryptids, relict hominids. The catch-all term for cryptids that are supposedly surviving hominids, not quite human, not quite ape. This includes Bigfoot, Yeti, Orang Pendek, and Yowie. The theory is that they are isolated populations of Gigantopithecus, Homo erectus, or Neanderthals that never went extinct. The bloop. In 1997, NOAA hydrophones recorded an ultra-low frequency, ultra-loud underwater sound in the South Pacific that was heard over 3,000 miles away. It was louder than a blue whale. For years it was called a possible unknown sea monster. The NOAA solved it in 2005. It was an icequake, a massive iceberg cracking and scraping the seafloor off Antarctica. Triassic Kraken, a fringe theory from 2011 by paleontologist Mark McMenamin. At Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park in Nevada, 9 giant 45-foot ichthyosaurs died together with their bones arranged in strange, almost deliberate patterns. He claimed a 100-foot intelligent Triassic. Kraken drowned them and arranged the bones in its lair like art. Almost all other paleontologists reject it. The arrangement is explained by currents and scavenging. Giant cookie cutter, shark. The normal cookie cutter shark is only 20 inches long and takes circular cookie cutter bites out of whales, dolphins, and fish. Cryptozoologists and some marine biologists suggest a giant 6 to 10 foot version exists to explain huge, perfectly round bites found on great white sharks, megamouth sharks, and whales that are too big for the small species. No specimen has ever been found. Queensland tiger, also called the Yari, a thylacine-like cryptid from tropical North Queensland, Australia. Witnesses describe a cat-sized marsupial, striped like a tiger with a fierce snarl, long tail, and savage temper. Unlike a feral cat, it has a bouncy marsupial gait. It is said to be a surviving mainland Thiocoleo, or striped Thiocene. There was lots of alleged sightings from the 1870s to the 1990s. Surviving megalodons. Based on the idea that Ototo's megalodon, the 50 to 60 foot prehistoric megashark that went extinct around 3.6 million years ago, still exists in the deep ocean. The theory is fueled by the vast unexplored nature of the ocean, alleged deep water sightings, and mysterious large bite marks on whales. Mainstream science considers it extinct, but it remains one of the most popular cryptids, featured heavily in books, mockumentaries, and movies. Like and follow or subscribe.
And of course, there you saw different animals like the I mean, I'm trying to think of the name of the creature, but it's kind of a cross between a lion and tiger creature, and they went extinct. But it's there are so many different forest areas that have yet to be explored. We have yet to explore the depths of our ocean to the fullest extent. That we don't know what's down there. Talking about the kraken, giant squid are basically kind of their ancestors. So could those creatures still exist? Possible. I mean, there's so many possibilities out there. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Now, of course, tonight is Friday night, and we got a mystery door to open. So we're going to open up that first door, revealing the prize. So let's open that door. Alright, and on that you saw a t-shirt, and that t-shirt from the Talking Tonight merch store is a brand new design. That design is not getting released until the 1st of September. So you have a chance to win that shirt before it even gets released to the public. But that's just the prize reveal. Later on, a little bit later, we're going to reveal the code word that you're going to have to put in the chat. And, of course, nobody won last Friday's prize. So if you still want to win on this prize, you have until Thursday night of next week to enter in the, if you're not watching live, because I know there's probably other Cowboys fans like me that are watching the Cowboys game, and I'm stuck here doing the show, but I got it to where I'm recorded. But if you're busy with something else and watching this later on, whether you're a Cowboys fan or not, and you still want to enter the contest, we're going to give you a chance unless somebody actually wins tonight. Then all bets are off there. But you must enter the code word when it is revealed. Put it in the chat the last 10 minutes of the show. We will announce a winner if that code word is put into the chat. So let's get on to talking about what ifs when it comes to UFOs and aliens. Now, here's a great what if question about UFOs. And the question is, what if UFOs and UAPs are not from space, but rather from time travelers from our future? I know some people claim we already have time travel technology. Could it be them coming from the future where things are more advanced? And looking at the advanced technology that we got now. Now, the question could have truth to it, but I'm not going to say it's true or not. I'm just putting it out there. Think about it. Again, we are advanced enough to have space travel. We have AI. We are advancing at speeds in the past couple of 100 years, not seen before or not recorded in history before. So could that be that we in the future have the technology to create such craft, and maybe the alien beings are us from the future? Or could they be AI life forms? That's an interesting thought. And again, there's a lot of what if questions. That's why I decided to do this show. So let's watch this video that explains this theory a little more. Let's go ahead and play that video.
Aliens aren't aliens at all. There's a theory that UFOs are actually controlled by future humans, like people traveling back in time to study us. And when you think about it, it gets weird fast. The classic alien description: big heads, huge black eyes, tiny mouths, weak bodies. It could actually make sense if humans kept evolving alongside technology for thousands of years. Bigger brains from relying on AI, larger eyes from living in dark environments like space, smaller bodies because machines do all the physical work. Some people even believe they come back to observe major moments in history, or to prevent future disasters before they happen. Which means every UFO sighting could actually be humans from the future, secretly watching their own past. But here's the creepy part. If they really are time travelers, what happened in the future that made them come back so often? What if aliens...
And that is a great question. What if they are time travelers, and what makes them wanting to come back and explore what's going on with things? Do they know something that we don't know? Coming up with this, with all the AI stuff that we're dealing with now. Now, as of this year, we are about to disclose. We're about to talk about disclosure, and sure, there was some. But what are they not trying to tell us about aliens and UFOs? So they want the what if question I would have to ask Carrie is, what if these alien beings walk among us and hold positions of power, which they wouldn't want us to find out about them? And of course, look at like The Simpsons and the different things that have predicted aliens in power. I mean, we've all heard of The Simpsons predicted the future. So let's look at this article that has something to say about the government power, aliens and government. Now, let's see, what if governments were actually aliens in disguise? And let's scroll down on that. I'll get past the picture. Now, it sounds like a plot in a late night science fiction film or comic book, yet the idea has circulated in whispers and conspiracy theories for decades. What if our government are not entirely human? What if behind the official faces and suits and speeches, there are beings from elsewhere, extraterrestrials, operating undercover, steering human society for purposes unknown? This thought experiment has fascinated millions, from UFO enthusiasts to political skeptics, and though it lives mostly on the fringe, it raises deep questions about power, secrecy, humanity in place of the cosmos, and of course what we talked about earlier. What if they're future beings and they're trying to kind of steer us in a different direction? Or maybe they forgot something and thought, okay, let's go back and make it even worse. So ancient visitors, stories of non-human rulers go back to the earliest myths. In Mesopotamia, tells God sent from the heavens to guide kings. Egyptian pharaohs were said to be linked with the divine Sumerian and Naki myth. and I do believe there are Anunnaki out there. Interpreted some of the French theorists suggested extraterrestrial beings directly influence human civilization. Now, while mainstream historians see this as symbolic myth, believers argue they may have a hint at literal encounters. And then, of course, the modern UFO culture and all that. All the links are in the description for what you've seen in this video here. I'll let you check that out for yourself to read at your leisure, because I don't want to give you all the stuff at once. I want to let you do your own research. Now, let's get into one last what if question on UFOs and aliens. For this one, let's talk about creation and who created life on Earth. Many faiths say it was God who created life, but what if God is actually an extraterrestrial being? Think about it. Who taught life to evolve? Who taught us to create the technology that we have today? Sure, we could get the technology from extraterrestrial life or learn how to do it, but what if they are the gods coming down to look upon us and help us? Ancient civilizations looked at these beings as God, so why not? Here's a video that'll kind of explain more of the biblical and alien time, aliens during the biblical times. So let's play that video.
If your Bible looks like a sci-fi novel, you're an ancient astronaut theorist. If angels sound like astronauts, you're in for a wild ride. And if you think the Star of Bethlehem was a UFO, this one's for you. The ancient astronaut theory suggests that figures like Jesus weren't just divine, they might have been extraterrestrial visitors. Proponents point to biblical bright stars and angels, claiming they're descriptions of spaceships and alien messengers. Miracles like resurrection and walking through walls? Allegedly, that's just advanced alien tech. Even Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel is reimagined as a UFO and Moses' burning bush. Maybe an alien comms device. But here's the twist. Mainstream historians and theologians call this all pseudoscience. There's no solid evidence, and these theories often force modern sci-fi ideas onto ancient beliefs. Most experts say these stories fit better as symbolic, spiritual, or cultural tales, not alien encounters. So wild theory or cosmic truth?
Now, what if there is truth to those? And, I mean, there are, like, let's say the book of Enoch. You cannot find that in the Bible. You have to kind of search out that. And there's a lot of other biblical things out there that might hold the secret to ancient aliens, gods, all that, angels, all that stuff might be in those missing books. Where are those missing books? I think a lot of them are deep in the archives of the Vatican, which is hiding away. We already know what the Catholic Church and everything like that did to the Wiccans. They basically took Samhain and turned it into their own holidays or their own traditions. So what's to say they haven't rewritten history to make it believe what they want to believe and hid away the parts about giants and cryptids and all ancient gods and aliens and all that stuff. But all that knowledge is hidden away deep in the vault of the Vatican archives. I'm sure if we ever find the Library of Alexandria, I'm sure there's scripture and hieroglyphs and all kinds of things down there that might explain this too. But people are trying to keep it away because they're keeping their truth alive by keeping the actual truth hidden. Again, just my thoughts. I want to know what you think down in the comments. Now, lastly tonight, I would like to get into a few questions when it comes to conspiracies. Now, my guest this past Wednesday, we did a lot of work in writing about Peoria State Hospital, and got me thinking about insane asylums. Why so big, and where did all these supposed insane people come from? I mean, yes, there are a lot of insane, crazy people in this world, even today, that we should have this insane asylums open for them. But when you talk about insane asylums, you got to know them too. And like she was explaining, that Peoria State Hospital was not so much for the criminally insane, like the murderers and stuff like that. I got the hiccups. But there were a lot of people that liked crafts and stuff like that. It was more open. But it's the architecture of the building that gave it that dark feeling to it. And I think that's the case on a lot of insane asylums, is they have that architecture to look like, oh God, this is really nasty haunted. So the what if question is, what if these places were not meant for insane people, but for people who knew too much? People that, well, I mean, there's a lot of people that know more than we should, and where people like that are getting silenced because, and since there's no insane asylum, they can't lock everybody up in a prison or a mental institution because there's just not enough space. But what if that back then that these were held for people that knew too much, and the medication kind of made them a little crazy. I know medication could do a lot of things, and it could possibly change people's behavior. Now, real quick before we play this next video, I want to mention that Wednesday night we got a guest that we're going to talk about HIV and other viruses and the truth about them. Not the pharmaceuticals truth, not the government's truth, but a truth that is not what they want you to believe. Again, this is a great question. I would love to get Sylvia's thought on this, but if she's listening, go ahead and leave me a comment down below or send me a private message. But what if these places were not for the insane people, but for those that knew too much, or basically were trying to tell the truth, and these bad people like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, all that wanted hidden away, and the best way to do it was to put them in these insane asylums and heavily medicate them. So let's play that video.
This is about to get crazy. You guys remember how there used to be asylums like for crazy people back in the days? Check this out.
What if the insane asylums from the 1800s weren't built for insane people at all? Think about it. People always say, if there was a reset, wouldn't everyone have known? But what if the people who did know were labeled insane? In the 1800s, all across America and Canada, massive insane asylums started appearing. Huge buildings, massive stone structures, some of the biggest buildings in the entire country at the time. But here's the strange part. Many of these cities were just being founded. So where did all of these insane people come from? And how did they know there would be so many of them that they built entire castle-like complexes to hold them? Look at the Central Lunatic Asylum in Ohio. It looks more like a fortress than a hospital. Look at the Columbia State Hospital. At one point, it was the largest building in the United States. And then there's St. Vincent Hospital in St. Louis. They say it was built in 1 year. 1 year in the 1800s. With that architecture. So you have to ask yourself, were these buildings really made to treat the insane? Or were they made to silence people who remembered a world that no longer existed?
what if the people who they...
And of course, again, what if? And that's what this whole show is about. Now, before we get into the next what if question about conspiracies, it is that time for us to open the last mystery door to reveal the code word. So let's open that mystery door. All right, so you saw the mystery code word. Enter it in the chat right now if you want to win that t-shirt. You got till Thursday if nobody wins tonight, but if somebody wins tonight, people put it in the chat and we draw and we get a winner. I'm sorry, the drawing, you'll just have to wait till September 1st to get that shirt, buy that shirt. But tonight, we're giving you a chance to win that shirt before it is even available. So put the code word in the chat and get entered to win, because the last 10 minutes and about 8 minutes, somewhere around 8 minutes or so, we're going to try to give away that shirt. So put the code word in the chat. If you're, I know you're watching, most of the people are, if you're watching live on YouTube, you can rewind it. If you're listening to it later on Spreaker, go to YouTube where you can actually see the code word, because I'm not mentioning it. You have to go to YouTube to see it. Whether you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that, you have to go back to YouTube to find the code word if we don't give away the shirt tonight. But again, pop in the chat the code word, and we'll try to get you a winner for that t-shirt. So, like I said, I'm going to do one more what if question when it comes to conspiracies, and then I want to look at a website that briefly talks about 22 other what if questions. So, this last what if question is, what if we all died and this is just a simulation? Or we all moved over to a parallel universe? Either way, all happening during the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012. I think that's when we could have shifted into a different parallel universe or a different reality. Now, not saying it's true or not. Again, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Now, I talked about parallel universes in the show titled Mandela Effect and Parallel Universes, which you can find here on YouTube. And I think I brought this up, but I'm not sure. Not always. My brain is not working tonight. It hasn't worked all day. But anyways, let's watch this last video that goes in depth about this what if question. You can, I'm not going to read all that because we don't have enough time to read it, but again, the link is in the description where you can go back and read all that for yourself at your leisure. So now, as I said before that video, let's look at this website that brings up 22 different what if questions, and then we'll see about doing that drawing. If you want to enter that drawing again, enter the code word down in the chat, and yeah, we'll try to give away that special design that's not out for release until September 1st on the Talking Night merch store. So let's go to that website. What if 22 crazy hypothetical questions and their answers. So let's scroll down. And it says, what would happen if you fell into a black hole? And again, I'm not going to read a lot of this, but if you were to step into a black hole, your body would closely resemble toothpaste, like being, or this is what they think, extruded from a tube. And again, I'm not going to read all these. I'm just going to kind of glance over them. And then let's see, what if another advanced species existed? Now, there is thoughts that there are other advanced species out there, like cryptids. What if Earth were twice as big? Now, there are videos out there that talk about this hypothetical what if question. And I suggest seeking them out and looking for them yourself. But we're scrolling a little too fast. We went down too far. I'm not going into depth to reading them much. But what if giant asteroid had wiped out the dinosaurs? Again, would they still be alive? Would they be still roaming here? Would we still have a different... Life was different back then. I mean, what if everybody jumped at once? I'm sure everybody's wondered that. What if the moon had never ever formed? Would we have rings like Saturn, as you see there? What if humans were twice as intelligent, which we might eventually get with AI? Who knows? Again, what if cats in the world suddenly died? This would break my heart because I got like 6 cats, but there's a lot of people that love cats. What if we were closer to the Milky Way's edge? People that love astronomy might find that interesting. What if the first animals had 6 limbs? I mean, these are different what if questions out there. Let's look at the time here, because go ahead and scroll down. What if the Neanderthals had not gone extinct, which we talked about Bigfoot possibly being a Neanderthal species, hidden very well. Again, I think there's like 3 pages, but we're not going to click on any of the pages. That's going to be it for tonight. I just wanted to cover some of those what if questions briefly so that it gives you something to think about. Again, the link for that will be in the description. Now, you got a couple more minutes to enter the code word down in the chat if you want to win that t-shirt. Again, that design has not been released yet. It will be released on September 1st with a couple, maybe 1 or 2 other designs. Maybe more, I don't know. Depends on what I get put up. But that design and at least 1 other will get put up on the website. T-shirts, coffee mugs, hats, and maybe eventually I'll add some other products to the merch store as well. So if you want to scroll back in the live here and find the code word, put it in the chat. If you're watching at a later time while this is not live and we don't get a winner tonight, remember, you do have till Thursday evening to put it in the comment section of the video, whether the live video or the my producer's got allergies, sneezing. But anyways, put it in the comments and we will pick a winner for that shirt. Again, that shirt is not getting released until September 1st. So now that you have seen or seen some thought-provoking what-if questions, I would love to hear what you might have for a what-if question in the comments, of course. I want to hear what you think about the what-if questions you heard tonight. And there are so many other what-if questions, but I can't cover all the what-if questions in an hour. Maybe we'll do a second part later on down the road. Who knows? But we got some great shows coming up for you next week. And next week, like I kind of mentioned briefly about it, is Wednesday we have Rebecca Smith as we talk about the truth behind HIV and other viruses. We're going to get into the truth of what they're not telling you about these viruses and what she has to say about them as her work as a doctor in the medical field and researching this kind of stuff. Then, of course, next Friday night, we got mysterious deaths and unexplained disappearances. And, what if churches did exist or didn't exist? Didn't exist. Oof.
That's a big question of.
Yeah.
Somebody else message says, "What if the government didn't exist?"
Well.
I'm like, those are some big questions. Like.
Yeah, there are a lot of great
what
if questions. There are a lot of great what if questions, and let's get into that first one. And again, like I said, I'm gonna give you a second to enter that code word down in the chat. But what if churches did exist? I think we would still have our beliefs and faiths, but we would be kind of brainwashed like we are nowadays. Again, it's just my opinion, my thought. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments, but I mean, that's my thought on it.
I guess mine would have to be, well, if churches didn't exist, then would we even know what faith is? Because would that even happen? So
yeah,
I guess what if the churches didn't exist, then would anything else exist that on the belief system, on faith? And
I mean, I guess it would be belief in whatever we kind of saw rather than what we're told, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Not like what we're told now, and this is what we have to kind of believe.
And I mean, that's just my opinion, like, on the question with the question, and unfortunately, you know, I mean, if it didn't exist, would anything else on that path exist at that point? Because that's where all that stems from. So,
yeah. And question. What was the what if?
What if the government didn't exist?
Oh, now that one I would love for it not to exist, but
I get it. That's a testy question.
But that's
a lot of people are political. I didn't want to bring it up, but it had its purpose of, you know, why it was asked, because, you know, would we be where we are today? Not just us, all the other countries and at a whole. Would any of us be where we are today if they didn't exist? You know, and the question resides, what gave us structure? What made us what we were? Is it the government or us ourselves as people?
No, look at look at the U.S. government right now. I mean, look at how things were before the central banks took over. People were helping people. You have people, almost like the Amish do, helping out their communities rather than somebody telling them what to do.
Right.
I mean, I think that's where we were before, and then these rich elitists came in and said, this is how it's going to be. And this is how we formed the governments. And I mean, but then again, there was king rule back in the 1500s, 1400s, 1300s. And that was a kind of a form of government too.
Right.
So it's hard to say what would actually happen.
Right.
And there's so many scenarios of what ifs on that question. And of course, the show is not about political stuff, unless it goes about conspiracies. But I don't mind answering the questions.
Yes,
so
there were just questions that were asked. They didn't want to write it in the chat, and unfortunately, I got the message. I passed it on. Hope you guys heard it. The other question was, what if central banking never existed? And I've got to answer that one for him because it's kind of on the political side again. These are our opinions, everybody. You do your own investigations. You do what you got to do. Believe what you want to believe. We're not here to make you believe what we believe. We're just here talking. You know, so when it comes to that kind of question, I mean, if it didn't exist, how would we live? Would we live off the land? I mean, there's so many other what-if questions that follow along with that question. So do some digging. Look and see, you know, figure it out for you or for yourself. Don't take what we say and follow that because that's not what we're here for.
And before we get out of here, if people watching that don't want to pop in the chat, but they're over there, if you want to enter the code word over there real quick, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to enter over there. If you want to enter it, and she tells me we got the code word over there, we'll do the drawing. But I'm going to talk about our somewhat sponsor, and then I'll see if she's got any people putting in the code word over there. But please welcome Talking Tonight sponsor Haunting You Podcast. If you have Halloween, or if Halloween is your thing and you're a home haunter and need us some tricks to add that extra scare to your home haunt this year, check out the Haunting You Podcast by going to talkingtonight.com and clicking on the Haunting You Podcast logo to take you to their site. You can find all kinds of different methods, tricks of the trade, their partner, podcast partners, their vendor partners, all that kind of stuff over on their website. And do we have anybody putting in the...
They want to give other people chances. They're not.
Well...
And that's okay. That's okay.
I mean, they don't want to... I mean,
it's okay.
People, you have till Thursday night to enter the code word in the chat if you're not watching live. So if you are enjoying Talking Tonight, why not take a piece of the show with you? Visit talkingtonight.com, click, hover over more, and then click on Talking Tonight merch store for t-shirts, coffee mugs, ball caps, and again, like that new design that was in the giveaway tonight. That shirt will be released. That design will be released on the merch store. I don't think it's there.
Yeah.
I took it off, but that design, I'll put it on there September 1st on the website. But anyways, that design will be released on September 1st. So you still have a chance to win it before. If I don't get a winner by the end of the show before I'm done here, which we're almost done out, then I want to take the first winner. The first person that comments the code word in the comments. But visit the Talking Night merch store. Your support helps keeps the conversation and the show going. And if you want to put your business out in front of a passionate late night audience on topics like the paranormal and conspiracies and cryptozoology and UFOs and aliens and all that good stuff, the Talking Tonight is now welcoming advertisers and sponsors. Reach listeners interested in the topics discussed on the show. Visit talkingtonight.com to learn more or contact us today at talkingtonight@outlook.com. Grow your business with Talking Night. Now, as I said before we head out, Wednesday night we have my guest, Rebecca Smith, as we talk about the truth behind HIV and other viruses. And then, of course, Friday night, we have mysterious deaths and unexplained disappearances. Like, we're going to talk about, like, those UFO whistleblowers and scientists that mysteriously disappeared and some of them were found dead. They're going to be in that episode. So join us next week. And of course, if you want to find all the upcoming shows, go to talkingtonight.com, hover over podcasts to the drop down menu and find upcoming shows. You'll find out what we got coming up for the whole month of September. So until next Wednesday, when we welcome my guest, Rebecca Smith, as we talk about the truth behind the truth about HIV and other viruses. I shall see you on the dark side. Good night from Talking the Night.